third video, I'm going to show you how to save the files. It's important that for this file, we, excuse me, save both the Photoshop with the 2 layers and a JPEG, which will compress the 2 layers into one and make it small so you can email it or post it however you want on social media. So the first thing, you have to make sure you're clicked in here, not in here. Click on here, save, we're going to do File Save As. I'm going to change the name, let's see, watermarked sample, we'll call it. This is PSD. That would change if you change this to JPEG. See how that changes to JPEG? But JPEG does not have the layers saved. So we're going to go back to Photoshop. Layers are automatically saved. Change the title. Save it. And then you'll also say yes. And this shows up over here, the watermark sample Photoshop. Now we want to go back. I automatically clicked in there when I was using the text tool, so I added a layer by mistake. To delete that, I would go back to the Move tool, the basic arrow. See that this is highlighted, I could just trash it. Click on trash, delete it. Now I'm back to the 2. So when you're saving, you should be on the Move tool. It's just sort of the basic default. Now I want to do another Save As, and this time it's going to be a JPEG. So I'll drop down to JPEG. This automatically changed. The extension already automatically exchanges. There are no layers. Then I'll say Save. You'll keep it at 12. If it's not at 12, you can make this slider slide over. You'll want it to be progressive so it shows up as it's opening. Then you can say OK, and then this will show up over here. You have both the sample that you can email that's very small. Here's the file size. So the sample is very small. This one is larger because it's keeping the 2 layers. Now let's say we'll go back and click in here, and you can just say File Close. So we're done with that one, and we'll say Don't Save because you've already got the 2 files that you want over here. For this file, we're going to always want to have this not saved. So you're going to say File Close, but don't save it because you want to keep the 2 layers here. And make sure that every time you open it, it has the same date. It will be yesterday's date. So every time you open it, it's the original that I sent you. And sometimes you might hit something by mistake or add another layer like I did by mistake. So you definitely want to close out of that without changing anything. So now let's say Sharon says to alter that watermark. You can go back here. You can either take this file, click and, sorry, I'm gonna close out of that. Sometimes you can click and drag. In this case, it's not working. So I'm going to go from here. I'm clicking on the program, File, Open. You could say Open Recent. I could just say File, Open, okay? Then I'm going to pick up the watermarked sample, the one that we saved with 2 layers, and say Open. Now, again, I'm going to say Command, hold down Command, and tap the plus key so you can see it. Go over, click on the Type tool, turns into a bar. Double click in here. Let's say she wants it to be italic, so we'll go to, it's on light now, we'll make it light oblique. So see it change to italic. And let's say she wants it to be darker. We'll come here and make it 50 instead. So this has to be highlighted while you're changing this or else it won't apply to this. So say 50. And you see it got a little bit lighter. If you wanted it to be 75, that's fine too. Here, we'll make it 75. And then you can say return to get out of there. I think that is too light. I'm too dark. I'm too white. So I'll double click back in here again and I'll make it 50. And then return to get out of there. Then I'm going to do another save as. First the Photoshop with the layers. Save it. Yes, I want to replace the one that was already there before it was before the watermark was italicized. And then you can say OK. And then I'm going to do File, Save As, and drop down to JPEG. So the extension is changed. There are no layers. It's compressed. You say Save. I'm going to override the one that we did earlier. Keep it at 12 at Progressive and say OK. So now this is the one that you will email or post, and this is the one that you'll work on if you ever need to change it again. Then you can say File, Close, and that's it.